Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this event, introductory course on development and implementation of a trustworthy AI policy. Today, I'm pleased to announce that it has taken us months to come up with this introductory course. Celeste and I have been working really hard, listening to all the things that you have been telling us. We have been talking to leaders, data and AI leaders in the industry. And one of the common themes that we have found is that today, AI has become a buzzword. Everybody is building either technology using AI or building a solution using AI. And some of the things that the industry is concerned about is the transparency and ethical use around responsible AI. How is it impacting everyone else that this industry and this technology is touching lives of millions of people? So how is it impacting all of them? And so for that reason, we need to think about ethics by design inbuilt into the design phase of this technology. And when we think about building a responsible AI solution, AI policy comes in place. So how do we build a trustworthy policy? How do we implement a trustworthy AI solution? That's the whole premise of this course. And I'm very pleased to introduce the instructor, Dr. Celeste Frelick. Hi, Celeste.
Hi.
Welcome. So Celeste will give a brief introduction on her decades of work around AI. She is a senior data scientist, or former senior data scientist at McAfee. And I will give the floor to her. Celeste, it's all yours.
Thank you, Shilpi. As she said, I'm Celeste Frelick. I have a PhD in biomedical engineering from Arizona State University. And I focused in neuroscience. I focused in neural networks and bioelectricity. But what I found was that while I was getting my master's and my PhD part-time, which took a while, I was also working in the field. So I worked at Texas Instruments, I worked at Medtronic, I worked at Intel, eventually retiring from both Medtronic and Intel. And I just recently retired from McAfee on February 1st or January 31st. So I created a company following in the footsteps of Shilpi, known as Purkinje Science and Technology. And you may think that's a very odd name. It creates value through intelligent analytics. But what Purkinje is actually the Purkinje fibers are found in the heart and they're found in the brain. And what better thing to have for a business is to have a brain and heart working together to make a good business. So today what I'd like to do is take the knowledge I had through almost 43 years of working with data and my education, which, by the way, took about 14 years for the MS and PhD, Catherine. So I'm sure you did it a lot quicker, but it was a good ride, and I'm very excited to be part of the data analytics industry. But what I found was that there was not an overarching umbrella, if you'd like to call it that, for AI policy. And when I started looking at the AI policy for, I lost my share.
I stopped sharing because you are talking, so I wanted everyone to.
Oh, okay. Okay. At any rate, well, you took me off my road. So what this course will do is I found that after almost now 43 years in the industry, and the knowledge I've had and experience and education, is there was not one place to go for the knowledge about how a company, what a company stands for around AI, what a company would do if there were an issue. And I'm sure that y'all might remember, I live in Texas now, so I've got to throw in a y'all. Y'all might remember when we had the whistleblower from Facebook speak to Congress about the issues regarding profit over safety, profit over ethics. And so it got me to thinking that we really need to have a landing place, a plan to put an AI policy in place that complements the other things that we do. Now, I currently sit on 4 board of directors, and one in education, and three companies, one of them public. And I find that of those board of director positions, that AI, I'm very lucky to be part of each one of them, but AI is kind of yeah, it's out there. Well, so much of our data nowadays, so much of our products have data involved in them, embedded in them. And so what this course does, and I will start sharing. I want to make sure I share here. Sorry. You threw me for a loop there, Shilpi.
I know, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I warned you.
That's okay. I raised 2 boys, so I'm always thrown for a loop. And even though they're quite older now, they still throw me for a loop. So I do want to thank Shilpi, by the way, for and Data Ethics for All for sponsoring this course with Perkinji Science and Technology. And and I'm sure that it's a great place to land this course as well. So we've heard about Trustworthy AI. There's NIST documents, there's specifications, guidelines, there's ISO documents. In fact, I was part of the AI Trustworthy document specification, the ISO doc that we put together. I believe it's 24028, if I remember my numbers correctly. But the question is, how do we put that into place? How do we put that into practice? So there's all the things that it says we have to do, but it's missing a few things. For example, if you're on the board of directors, what are the type of things that you should be asking the company to do? In addition, what are the type of things that you would include besides ethics, trustworthiness? What about safety? There is a comment today in the news about safety on a particular Apple product. And while I don't have Apple products, it had to do with the tracking device. And so I think the question comes into mind as to, all right, we know we need trustworthy AI, but how do we put it in place? So it's a comprehensive platform for your customers, for your company, your board of directors, your stockholders, and your vendors. You should be able to take this and bring it to your vendors and say, hey, I want you to put an AI policy in place in order for you to work with us. And it doesn't have to be all at once. It can be because we don't want to impact product development or sales or anything like that. We want to put it in to practice in stages. So it attests what your company accepts as its AI values and foundation. It's whether your AI is embedded in product, whether it's business intelligence in your internal processes like finance or marketing, human resources, whether it's vendor supplied, or whether it's actually an end product. So your upcoming customers, Gen Z, they're going to be 67 million people by 2030. They're expecting companies to be socially responsible, including AI. In fact, they utilize social media more than any other generation, and that generation spans from 1996 to 2010. So what we want to do with this AI policy is to lower your company's risk. If not now, when will you do it? So what is the best way to put this into practice? Well, this particular course will be about 3 days long. It's about 2 to 3 hours every day. It will be occurring during the first half of 2023. I will be teaching it, trying to keep you awake. And the target audience is anybody, but we really want to focus on the C-suite and the VPs, the CDOs, the board of directors. Why do we want to do that? Well, it's because leadership is a key part of an AI policy being enabled into your company. So it's very important that we target this audience in order that they can drill it down into their organization. Catherine, do you have any questions at all that I can answer at this point?
I don't have a question. I'm making notes. Maybe just to check what you meant by a comprehensive platform, that do you mean that all people know particularly what the AI does, whether they're stakeholders, vendors, customers?
That's
Is that what you mean?
absolutely spot on, Catherine. That's exactly what I mean. It means that as an employee and or even a student in academia, we understand values, and we understand our expectations in a company. We understand our goals, our mission, our overall strategy for the company. Even if you're, one of 107,000, like I was at Intel, we want to be able to reach every employee and take the AI policy and make it part of the company. Now, we do that with values, but do those values right now include trustworthiness of your AI? Does it include ethics of your AI? Does it include safety of your AI? And I don't want to give all the elements of the policy, or we'll end up not actually having a course offered. But at the end of this course, you'll understand the risks your company has without an AI policy. And just looking at the Apple issue today with the tokens, and it happened to be a stalking issue, but the issue with profits over ethics from Facebook a number of years ago. We want to know what those financial risks are as well. So this course will be able to help you understand how to incorporate the risks of not having an AI policy in your financial balance statement. Now, because of US data rules, and I'm not sure how it is in other countries, we're unable to put a line in our balance sheet for data, but we can incorporate it into certain areas, and we'll show you how to do that. Well, you'll also learn the various elements of an AI policy. You can see a lot of them in the trustworthiness AI specs that I mentioned, like ISO or NIST. But there's others that need to be addressed. How to implement them into different processes. Okay, I've got ISO, I've got my company values, I've got product development, I've got software development. How do I merge it all? So you'll learn how to do that. We'll know how an AI policy can be integrated into your data system. So from product development, we start with innovation, and along the development of product, particularly with embedded AI, there are checks and balances. However, those checks and balances typically do not address issues around ethics or trustworthiness. So we'll show you how that can be integrated into your data system, especially the product development system. You'll develop your own plan for an AI policy. So you'll walk out of there with a plan, or at least the high-level outlay of a plan. You'll create usage models and use cases for an AI policy. You'll learn how to do that. You'll learn how to create an AI ethics and data board. I managed one as well as an analytics center of excellence, both at Intel and McAfee corporate-wide. And there's a lot of pros and cons and learnings, and I'd love to share them with you. Also, as I mentioned, the metrics, not only in finance, but the C-suite dashboards, and those C-suite dashboards will go up to the board of directors. So we want to make sure that they understand AI is important to the company. So in-class activities and templates and examples that you can take back immediately to your company include an outline of your company's AI policy, your high-level plan on integrating AI policy into other ecosystems, such as your DAMA, your data management system, ISO software, product lifecycle, identifying your company's metrics for tracking AI policy adherence and reporting it to the C-suite, or reporting it to the board of directors, or actually in your marketing collateral. It's late in the day here, so not as late as Catherine in Paris. But at any rate, I'm excited about doing this because through the knowledge I have through my education, as well as nearly 43 years now of working with data in production of small areas and large areas with C-suite and board management expertise, I want to be able to share that with you. And Data Ethics for All has given me an opportunity to share that information with you. And I hope you'll come along for the ride. It will be very intense, and hopefully we'll have a lot of fun. So Catherine, are there any questions? Shilpi, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a question, and maybe just because of my unfamiliarity with this subject. So I can understand how policies need to be implemented for stakeholders, because in that situation it is a bit like informed consent. When you mean the interaction with AI and the employees, is this about having your AI as your business optimization, and therefore kind of how would an employee contest something an AI churns out. Is that the kind of situation?
I think that's a great question. One of the things that we want to include in the AI policy is your legal responsibilities on if you see something, say something. Things like bias. If you are looking at a particular or have created a particular model and say, just for example, you have looked at non-white with a very small population compared to the white and population of your data, or your age is skewed towards 20 to 30-year-olds versus maybe for your company you're targeting 50 to 60-year-olds. So we want, if I created that model and a colleague that's sitting on the AI board does not question that, then I hold not only that person responsible, I hold myself responsible as well for not doing a good job. And I think gender, and I'm dealing with that with a healthcare company right now. If you're not addressing gender and ethnicity and age, those three things combined can really, really skew your data above and beyond kurtosis, above and beyond, skewness of the actual data. I found many folks forget how to do distribution analysis and summary statistics. And so what we want to do is to be able to say, hey, one of the things you need to do if you're looking at good model building, one of the things in AI policy is that you've better make sure that you've looked at bias. Well, what are the 5 types of analytics that you can do for bias? Well, there's statistical parity, there's certainly, others. But what about the summary statistics? Those, just looking at the distribution is one thing that I've seen that many data scientists forget to do before they jump right into the model. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. So if I can maybe rephrase the I guess it's the program is about looking at what I guess what I'm struggling with is that I see the need for AI policies in specific examples. I think I don't know what the general situation would be which requires an AI policy, I guess.
Well, let me give you mentioned that you were in healthcare, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. One of the challenges I've seen in healthcare is that in many companies were unable to capture the true validation of the model out in the field.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is because physicians and clinicians alike aren't able to capture that data in a timely manner. And frankly, it's not important to them at this point. They have better things to worry about. They need to make sure that their patients live for, oncology or any issues that they might their patients might have. AI validation is not at the top of their priority list, but we need it as developers of models. We need it. So how do you ensure that your model is adhering to the points that drive model decay.
Mhm.
Things like bias that I mentioned, things like explainability, and that big word, I really worry about that big word called trustworthiness, because it has a lot of fluff to it. And what we want to do is be able to take that lack of tracking the model decay out in the field and incorporating that within the product development cycle. If there's an issue with safety, if there's an issue with privacy, if there's an issue with bias, explainability, these are the type of things that will help you in line be able to predict whether your model will decay faster in the field than it normally might. So it might decay fast, it might decay slow, you don't know. In fact, 51%, only 51%, pardon me, only 51%, according to Dr. Andrew Ning survey with, I believe it was Farmers Insurance, indicated that only 51% of folks monitor their model decay out in the field. Now, the only way we're going to be able to determine whether decay is occurring or not is that the physician walks away.
Mhm.
He doesn't reorder your test. He doesn't reorder your diagnostic. So what can you do? How can you ensure that you get that information back into your product development cycle and when I say product development, it may be your product with AI embedded. It may be software only. With AI, it may be, the end result may just be, the end product may be just AI, just the model. So the question becomes, how can we monitor something around trustworthiness that we want to do in the field and internally, but we can't in the field. So we've got to bring that trustworthiness back into the product development cycle. So that's what I mean about being able to take some of these items in policy that I'll discuss more in the training, that you can drill down into the requirements of building your device, building your AI model, and making sure that you monitor that as opposed to waiting for the physician to get that information back to you. Now, having worked with the FDA before and NHS actually in Britain, we do know that we have to monitor safety.
Mhm.
But can we monitor safety sooner?
Okay. I think that's really interesting to think because I guess if sorry to rephrase again,
Yeah.
the maintenance of data collection standards is also an ethical consideration, which has to be part of the policy.
Absolutely. Can you help me teach the course?
Not if it's at this time.
Well, and I've just touched upon a few things that are included in AI policy, but one of the things that we absolutely need is leadership. And if we don't target leadership in embracing AI policy, it's going to fall flat on its face. And I can tell you from experience that product managers will look and go, "Oh, you want to implement that? It's going to slow my line down." Okay, so how do we do that? So if you walk away from this course, you'll know how to do that.
Okay, great. And I'm looking forward to it. It will be super interesting. I can definitely watch if it's at this time of night.
Oh, that's
So,
good. Well, I hope I gave you enough to and the web audience, I hope I gave everyone a taste of what's to come. I'm very excited about this course, and thank you, Data Ethics for All, for partnering with me and helping us get this off the ground, because it's an important subject. And
Very
if not
good.
now, when?
Yes, I like that. So I had one question, Celeste. I know we talked about, and you brought up a very important point, that it has to be top down. We need to bring the leadership on board. If the leadership is on board with, a good, responsible AI, trustworthy AI, starting from policy, that's the only way that we can make this work. So, and we also mentioned that this course is designed for C-suite leaders, for the CXOs. So do you have a particular CXO in mind? Is it the chief technology officer? Is it the chief AI officer? Is it the chief data and information? Is it the chief data officer? Is it the data chief operations officer, the security officer, or all of them, marketing and obviously sales and all of that? So whom exactly do you think will it benefit the most?
I believe the person that would benefit the most is the CDO and the chief data officer. I believe that 80%, I read that figure today, that 80% of the CDOs are reporting directly to the CEO. So I think it's very important for the CDO to have this in his pocket, to be able to say, this is how we put an ecosystem together. And of the ecosystem, AI policy is just one item. So maybe that's another course that we can put together.
Yeah, and we just did an introduction on another course, which is, like I was sharing you, and some of our viewers who attended us last week also probably heard about that. We're building it to how to put data governance and data practices and how to create a data ethics organization from the ground up. So I think all the CXOs, if they take these two courses, I think they will have this in their back pocket, like how to really handle data well in their company, how to build AI solutions that they are confident about that will do well in society.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure, Celeste. I'm super excited to bring this course. I hope you spend your holidays in working on this. Not all of it. I don't wish that you spend all of your holidays on it, but at least the sooner we are able to bring this course in the first quarter of 2023, that will be a big win.
I think so too.
Look forward to seeing it. Thank
it's
you.
time.
Yes, it is time. The time is now.
Yes. If not now, when?
If not now, when? Absolutely. With that, I'd love to end on that note. I think it's a great note to end on, and I'll let you all think about it. If not now, then when? Take care. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye. Thanks, Celeste.
Thank you. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks, all the viewers. Okay, bye.
Bye.